At this point, even though it's only been around since early 2022, you'd be troubled to find anyone active on social media who hasn't heard of the drink Prime. It's a joint creation between social media giants Logan Paul and KSI, which has amassed impressive sales of hundreds of millions since the brand's inception. The pair started with a sports drink, Prime Hydration, and then about a year later released Prime Energy 2. Admittedly, several Prime products taste great and are especially intriguing given that they are so low in calories. Consequently, in light of this combination, you may think it's okay to include it while on a weight loss diet. Yet today, we'll explain why drinking it often will probably do the opposite and hinder your progress to your ideal body weight. But first, as always, please take note of our disclaimer. To begin with, let's discuss Prime Energy by looking at the nutrition label. The first thing you'll see, as we've just mentioned, is its marginal calorie content with only 10 calories in all. On top of this, it has no added sugar or bad fat and negligible amounts of sodium and carbohydrates. Therefore, Prime Energy seems like a perfectly reasonable drink while losing weight. So then, why isn't it? Well, you gotta remember that besides there being direct ways of putting on weight, there are also indirect ways. A direct way of increasing body fat would be, unsurprisingly, consuming too much food high in calories. In contrast, indirect ways would rather be doing things that don't involve calories, but still influence weight negatively by increasing your appetite later. Poor sleep, skipping meals, sedentary behavior, and chronic stress are perfect examples. But the main indirect way as it pertains to Prime Energy is its caffeine content. This is because the more caffeine we intake, the more cortisol, i.e., the stress hormone, will be released into your bloodstream, which is an appetite hormone. And Prime Energy has shockingly as much as 200 milligrams of caffeine in one can. To put that into context, that's about twice as much as a can of Red Bull of the same size. Even though the recommendations suggest that up to 400 milligrams of caffeine is okay, you have to remember that that's concerning health, which isn't the same as for effective weight management. Now, you could come back and say that your morning coffee actually offsets your appetite, which is true, it can. But that's only in the immediate sense. In actuality, once coffee starts to wear off later, you'll be a lot more hungry, and hence a lot more likely to make the wrong choices regarding food and portion sizes. When dieting, we really need to look at the day as a whole and not just a certain fraction. Another thing that you could point out is that since caffeine increases your metabolism, consuming large amounts of it should burn more calories while you go about your day-to-day business. Yet a meta-analysis found that, at most, consuming caffeine may only increase energy expenditure up to about an extra 100 calories, which really can compare to the increased calorie intake it causes from snacking more frequently or going up for seconds at meals from its appetite-inducing effects, where, in all likelihood, you'll intake multiple times that number. Furthermore, going back to the other things that indirectly negatively impact your weight, Prime Energy will also mess up your sleep if you have it at an unreasonable hour regularly, or maybe even have two of them daily. From having a shorter sleep duration, you'll have more opportunities to eat and snack more. And since sleep is when our appetite hormones get optimally regulated, it means that the next day you'll be more prone to overindulge. Further, you'll burn fewer calories the following day from being more tired. So, can you see how, despite Prime Energy's low associated calories, it can still lead to increased calories in other ways? Now, in saying that, you might then think that the other version of Prime Hydration, is perfectly okay in that case, while watching your weight since it's caffeine free and similarly low in calories and macronutrients. But the main reason it isn't is because it is high in artificial sweeteners, as is Prime Energy. That's how they taste so sweet, even though they lack added sugar. In fact, sucralose, which is one of the main artificial sweeteners in Prime, was found by Whitehouse, Baluta and Macaulay in 2008 to be 600 times sweeter than table sugar. Yes, you heard me right, 600 times. This level of sweetness is detrimental to your diet, as you'll be more prone to seek high amounts of added sugar following it to try and reach similar levels of sweetness as your body now craves it. And several large-scale prospective cohort studies have indeed found a positive correlation between artificial sweeteners and weight gain. As one example, the San Antonio Heart Study, assessing over 3,000 adults, taking place over 8 years, found that the average BMI gain was 1.01 kilos per meter squared for people who weren't drinkers of artificially sweetened beverages, versus 1.78 kilos per meter squared for people who were. Lastly, there are 3 other things advocates for Prime may note as reasons it helps weight. On a quick side note though, if you'd like to undertake our evidence-based and results-backed personalised Plate Doh weight management program, please click the link in the top right hand corner of the video or follow the link in the description. Firstly, it's the BCAA content, since this affects fat metabolism and muscle synthesis. It's also being proposed to have a causal influence on satiety. However, a 4-week trial involving 42 overweight and obese women saw no significant effect of BCAA supplementation on weight. What's more is that in the study, the participants were given 6 grams of BCAAs, while Prime only contains 1/24th that amount. As a result, it can be said that Prime's BCAAs won't help you lose weight, but the B vitamins and electrolyte content might. Prime contains high levels of vitamins B6 and B12, actually twice the recommended daily amount. These help exercise since they help to convert the macronutrients you consume into energy. In comparison, consuming electrolytes helps you to avoid muscle cramps, weakness, and fatigue, and therefore work out longer. So, in truth, while Prime mightn't benefit the amount of calories you're burning through its BCAA quantity, it may help do so by the B vitamins and electrolytes. But even then, it's worth remembering that nutrition is paramount when it comes to successful dieting, as you've heard repeatedly. I mean, what's burning a marginal amount of extra calories from Prime's effect on energy if you end up consuming probably a meaningful amount higher than that simultaneously due to its appetite-inducing effects? Do you agree with us? We'd love to hear from you in the comment section down below. Additionally, if you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel. So, that has been our video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.